This is Dr. Andrew Jones. In this edition of Veterinary Secrets, I'm going to be discussing separation anxiety in dogs, how to know if your dog has it, and what you can do to finally treat it at home. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. In today's video, I'm once again featuring my neighbor's dog, Pippi, who is walking down. There she is there. Pippi is a great vacuum. So before we get into this video, I just wanted to share with you my little bit of news. I recently went to the dentist, came back from said dentist appointments. I was upstairs doing what a good dental hygiene person would do, and that's floss my teeth. So this is what came out of my mouth. Yes. Unfortunately, part of my tooth. Doesn't have a whole lot to do with separation anxiety, but it's YouTube and I get to share. One of the most common complaints among dog owners is that their dogs are destructive or disruptive when left alone. Do you see this? When your dog is left alone? The newspaper, the pizza box, my favorite shirt. Perhaps you hear this. So what are some of the symptoms of separation anxiety in our dogs? Well, some of what you see here, chewing, digging, escaping, this destructive behavior, chewing up this stuff. There could be urination, defecation. Some dogs will exhibit coprophagia where they're actually eating their own stool. This excessive pacing. They just can't get comfortable. Think of yourself being anxious and experiencing any type of symptoms of anxiety, and then just relate that to your dog. The big difference with separation anxiety really is an anxiety versus just sort of bad behavior. So in practice, I would have, pet owners come in, say, yeah, my dog is just having these real challenges, learning. He has real difficulty. He seems okay during puppy class, but as soon as, I put my coat on, I'm going up to leave the house, he's sort of following me around, he's pacing, he might be drooling, excessive salivation. There is a classic case where you actually have a dog, it's not just bad behavior, actually dog has this separation anxiety. He or she, and more often than not it seems to be the males, is anticipating you leaving, and he has these clear symptoms of anxiety. Meaning, one, your dog is more than just bad behavior. He or she has separation anxiety. Two, you need to do something about it because it's really not fair. It's really uncomfortable for your dog. But fortunately, there is a number of things that you can be doing now. So for dogs with separation anxiety, the initial trigger is just you leaving, and those cues that your dog is picking up on in terms of getting a sense that my owner is about to leave, like the one person I'm feeling secure and trusting with, they're leaving the house. So all it takes is you're getting up in the morning, you're grabbing your keys, you go over here, you put on your coat, and guess who is sticking to you, falling around, pacing, being all anxious? Your dog. Pippi here, the non-anxious dog. But if she were to have separation anxiety, I would expect as soon as I'm getting my coat on, I've got on this hoodie, I'm about to leave the door, she's following me around, she's sort of pacing, she might even be drooling, because she's worried I'm leaving and it doesn't feel good and all these anxious symptoms are coming up. Pippi, I'm home! So the principles in terms of treating a dog with separation anxiety. First of all is to get the correct diagnoses. Your dog really has separation anxiety. Likely if he or she has a majority of those symptoms that correlate with you leaving, you probably have separation anxiety. Second, two, you've got a dog who's well trained. If you've yet to go to a puppy class or go to a basic dog training class, first I encourage you to do so. Just have some basic training skills. That being said, with some of these dogs that are so anxious, they just can't get that. So you need to look at some additional forms of treatment to get your dog to the point where he or she can actually just go through a puppy class and acquire those skills. So then if we have a dog who has mild separation anxiety, what we're then doing is, pairing the anxious symptoms that come with being alone. We're actually turning that more into a positive experience. So something we're actually using a Kong toy filled with peanut butter. One of the basic principles in terms of any type of behavior we're trying to modify is, give your dog the sense of something positive with the thing that was reducing anxiety, that's being left alone. So what we're trying to do is, get their sense in their brain that that's a positive thing. It's okay to be left alone for short periods of time. So one of the real nice things that I found worked with some of my dogs in the past is something like this, some type of Kong treats. This is one of those chewable rubber-based dog treats. You can stuff something in, grab yourself some peanut butter, and I especially use this when this was a puppy and I had to leave him for a little bit, and I would take the peanut butter and I would shove it in part of that Kong toy. But you can actually push it down inside. This is a Kong type toy as best you can. Then I leave this for Lewis, as I leave it for Pippi, and as I'm going out. And that would kind of be one of my first simple things, where I'm just going out for a short period of time, and I'm giving her something positive in terms of, whoa, my owner leaves. Normally I'm anxious, but I get something I like. I get to chew on this Kong toy filled with peanut butter, which can keep me entertained for up to 30 minutes. Some of the natural options to consider while we're trying to actually make our dog less anxious, aside from the veterinary medications such as clomicam. First of all, there's a medication here. It's called L-theanine, and it's the amino acid found in green tea. The dog L-theanine dose is 1 to 2 milligrams per pound, generally given twice daily. So something like Pippi, she's about 50 pounds. I would start her out at 1 milligram per pound, so 50 milligrams twice a day. So that would be half of these. These are 100 milligram tablets, half a tablet twice a day. If it wasn't even touching her anxiety symptoms, I'd be upping it to sort of 1 full tablet twice a day. A couple points about these tablets. First, it's natural. 2, it doesn't work really quick. It's going to take a couple weeks for you to see it have an effect. And 3, there's virtually no side effects from giving it. So you can be pretty confident using it. You're not going to be harming your dog in any way. And I've seen a number of dog owners report it really has been helpful. So it's something I want to have you guys consider. Something else that has helped me in the past, especially with some clients' pets, has been using an essential oil called lavender, which I've got here. It smells great. One of the big benefits of using lavender really can help decrease anxiety. So how I best used it is take the concentrated lavender. Pretty typically, I'm using about 10 drops of lavender, and I'm putting it in this here. And this is a vaporizer. Typically, I'm putting about 10 drops in about a cup of water. So you can there's all different shapes and sizes of vaporizers. And it's something where I'd want to leave in a space where my dog is, while I'm leaving. So for instance, in my house, it'd be in the boot room. And I just put it off to the corner. I leave it on. I actually was using it for my last cat, Gussie, who had some excessive vocalization, which means yowling at night. And it really did make a difference in terms of just calming her. Another holistic option you can consider is this. It's Rescue Remedy, the Bach Flower Remedy. I have had some clients that it's been really helpful for their dogs, especially some of the anxiety just goes along with it going to see your veterinarian. And I've had some dog owners really said that it was beneficial to them in terms of they would leave. They would typically you're putting somewhere between 5 to 10 drops. Usually I'm thinking about a drop per every 10 pounds. And you could it's an easy little thing. You just either drip it in your dog's water. I prefer putting it in their lips. So then he or she is going to get it. So something like Pippi, putting 5 drops, 30 or so minutes before I'm about to leave. And for some guys, that was just enough to sort of, once again, you make them feel that much less anxious. So there's an acupressure point sort of located midway, just up top, the top of our nose, right in between our eyes, called the yin tang point. And it's used in people for anxiety, and some people will actually find, they're, or whatever situation, they're feeling really anxious, and they'll just hold on to that point where you're indenting it, the skin, for 30 to 60 seconds. You can go ahead and try it on yourself now. You may actually feel less anxious by doing it. So you just sort of take a couple deep breaths in and out, just clear your mind. So using it in your dog, something like Pippi, go ahead and try it. It may or may not be helpful, but you're just, right in here, right at the base of her nose, of her muzzle, right in here, right between midpoint between her eyes. Just holding that for 30 to 60 seconds. If your dog has more serious separation anxiety, more than some of the mild stuff that has been discussed, then my first suggestion is really try to get some professional help. More importantly, by a skilled dog trainer, a skill with treating dogs that have separation anxiety. The principles in terms of treating are based on sort of a gradual counter-conditioning, desensitization, always avoiding any type of punishment, and just being really, really patient to try to work up to that first sort of 30 minutes. Pretty much most of all the anxiety symptoms all happen within that first 30 minutes of you leaving. So in a nutshell, in terms of how you're trying to get to the point where you can actually deal with your dog's separation anxiety, first of all, likely you're seeing a professional trainer. Secondly, too, you're probably starting it with some type of medication. You can start it with some of the things I discussed, such as the L-theanine, called pre-departure cues, where it might be just, you pick up your keys and your dog gets anxious. And because he knows, as soon as you grab your keys, you're about to leave, and all these anxious symptoms happen. So then you pair that with not leaving the house. You pick up your keys, and then you don't leave the house. Okay. Then you pick up your keys, your dog is sort of calm and relaxed, and then you reward him or her. You're not rewarding him or her when they're super anxious. So for instance, what happens is that typically amongst, and I'm probably as guilty as anyone, is, a dog would get really anxious or nervous, and the first thing I'm doing is giving him or her all that attention, trying to reassure, it's okay, Lewis, I'm not leaving. Whereas what's happened is I'm giving him or her the attention, and I'm reinforcing those symptoms. So what's better to do is just, pick up your keys, not leave the house, don't react in any big way if your dog is anxious and pacing. When they're calm and then seem a bit more settled, then reinforce that behavior. Good girl, Pippi. You tolerated that little bit of pre-departure anxiety, so you get a treat. There. The next step is you're just progressing to what's called out-of-sight exercises. So you're not even leaving the house. So if we're starting out with your dog not having these pre-departure anxiety or cues, it's like, okay, just because he grabbed the keys doesn't mean he's gonna leave. So the next thing is you're not actually leaving the house, it's called out of sight. Where, I'm in one part of the room, Pippi or my anxious dog is in the other part of the room, and he or she is not reacting, knowing that I'm still there. Pippi, stay. Here I'm in the other room. She's calm, she's relaxed. She's sort of progressing to the next stage. Then after that, then you're gonna proceed to the next step where you're actually trying to do just really short departures. And once again, turning those into being successful. So a couple ways to look at doing that. One is where we're distracting our dog with something positive, such as the Kong toy. We're gonna start out by saying, Pippi, stay. I put on my keys. I give Pippi, who's pretty calm, that little bit of Kong toy. She has something to chew on. I, leave the house for just a short period of time, 1 or 2 minutes. The big point is we're trying to do it graduated, slowly, being successful, rewarding the behavior that we want in terms of your dog being calm. Us not sort of overexciting, not getting super excited when we come back home. Good job, Pippi, woohoo! And, reinforcing that being alone and being separated can be an okay thing, and at the very least, maybe not going to love to be separated from you, but that, you know, they can deal with it, you know, in a positive way. I want to leave you with a couple last points. First of all, it can be really challenging to treat, but I've had a number of dog owners who've had dogs with separation anxiety, and they have been able to successfully treat their dogs and not keep their dogs on sort of lifelong, you know, veterinary medications such as Clomicam. Thank you for watching this edition of Veterinary Secrets. If you've yet to do so, I encourage you to subscribe. You can do that by clicking that little circle just above me. Then I want you to go ahead, click that link in the box below. I can send you my free books and videos on how to heal your pets at home with my top natural remedies. Lastly, if you've yet to do so, I encourage you to like this video. The more likes, the better.